take a roll call vote of confidence as our scribe for our meetings.
I would like to make a motion that we take a vote of confidence for Morris Stetson as the
Okay, in a second.
recording
I
secretary.
will second.
Discussions?
I don't think there's ever been a lack of confidence.
No.
Yeah, the work from my perspective has been excellent. So, all in favor of retaining Morris Stetson as scribe, or at least is the motion a vote that we are confident in?
Yes.
Okay.
Vote
The
of
motion,
confidence,
so
yes.
yea, as we have confidence. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, so that's 5-0. Moore has our vote of confidence.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, agenda review. Anybody have anything to add? Anything that should be stricken? I'm going to move, we have Barton and Butters here, question and answer period. That's under new business. I suggest that we move that up as part of the old business.
How about just prior to the minutes? Move the minutes and the old business to the end.
Well, I think there are a couple items on the old business that are quick, or at least
okay.
if we discuss them briefly, if they're going to be lengthy discussions, we can table them for later in the meeting.
Larry, I would just move new business up after the minutes. Paul's here, he's out every night. We can get him out also.
Okay. All right, I think that's excellent. There are a couple items additional under new business, but I think that they could all be under what I would call informational, maybe. So I'm going to go with moving all of new business ahead of old business, and then after old business, I'm also going to suggest informational, and that's just some general paperwork. I wanted this, Don wanted disseminated. Okay. That agreeable to everybody?
Yes.
Okay. Old business, I'm going to flip no dumping, instead letters to Barton and Butters. Those letters did go out, Christina?
That's fine.
Yes.
Naturally?
Absolutely,
About how
yes.
long ago was that?
I believe it was dated the end of last month, March
Okay.
28th. I could be wrong, but I would assume at least a few weeks.
And the letter basically was a follow-up from our inspection tours in the last fall with the representative from the L-CHIP program.
Charlotte Harding.
Charlotte Harding, thank you. There are two parcels that are part of what we would generally call the town forest. One of the parcels, the Barton easement, which includes the Pinnacle, not Barton easement, it's actually the Barton parcel, which the town owns, includes the Pinnacle. And there were some findings there, some degradation along the perimeter where it looked like some vehicles may have been across the stone wall. At least there was yard debris in places that may have been dumped over technically into the Barton. And that those were the findings that sort of generated the letter to the abutters as a reminder that it is not only a town-owned property, but under certain covenants because of the way it was funded in 1991 when the money was granted to the town by the L-CHIP program. Any comments or thoughts about the letters themselves?
I would assume we should get into it, and then we can discuss the letters.
We have a couple of families of abutters here, so would anyone want to speak to the letter they received or to the issue of vote?
The letter was dated April 4th.
April 4th?
We're seeing on about April 9th.
I'm Ernie Shepherd.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
I am an abutter to that land. Have been for almost 50 years.
May I ask, on Summer Street or Swan?
Summer Street.
Okay.
Them were mainly the abutters anyway.
Yeah.
But I guess this all started back when you say the town owns that land. Well, then you put in, because of funding, because of that funding, we don't own that. You guys are patrolled by another group, am I correct?
Do you have certain, well,
Yes.
So now you're up there telling us what to do. Send them people up there.
We did. That was Charlotte
I
Hardy.
know, I threw them out. They don't
No,
go on my property.
we weren't on your property.
I know, I don't want them there. But back years ago, when I first moved there, I wanted to put some wood there so I could transfer it around my house. You give me permission. Now, we shook hands, and does that mean anything to you people? A shaking hand, would that be a deal?
If he's still on the property, that would be a handshake deal.
Well, our town manager at the time told me that was no good. I threw him out of my house. He was in my house. Now, if you people aren't men of word, then I guess I'm wasting my time. Now, this letter is saying we got stuff that Ernie, the shepherd, was possibly cutting wood and burning it or whatever. I do have an outside stove there. That's a lie. Outright a lie. The town gave me all that wood, delivered it in my yard, cut all them stumps that look like crap. Now, before they go sending out letters, let's go to the right people, if they remember. I'm not happy at all with that particular thing. We went through this for years, not just, you're not talking months, years. They were right on one thing. I got that outside stove. I did have some ashes over the side of that, but I clean them up every year. It's still cleaned up. We have, the town has allowed, or state, I shouldn't say town, because people don't really have a say in that, in my point of view. They got paths up there now where they've dug in, they're blowing leaves off everything for erosion. What's that to these people? Believe me, I'm glad they do use it. I do like people using it. But what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I don't use the wood anymore, so I guess I feel I'm pretty much free. There is a couple of openings on that, which years ago, they've always been there. We had 2 pines this big. Asked the town to take them down. Yes, we did. They were red rot. They're now gone. I didn't touch anything on that. Yes, the stone wall is down underneath that, and I drive over some of it. Be first from to not anymore. It just, to me, it's a harassment. You got a job to do. Find out exactly what you're talking about before you come up there.
As long as we've
Now-
lived there, there's always been a road, a trail going from our property that cuts across and up, it goes up the actual road itself. That snowmobilers and our boys on their bicycles have always used that. That's been there as long as we have. I don't
One
know
down
how
back?
much. Yeah.
Yeah,
Can you-
I've lived up there 40 years. That opening and that stone wall's always been there.
Can you tell me who you are?
I'm
sorry.
Linda Shepherd.
Melinda?
Linda.
Linda Shepherd.
Ken?
Might not make you feel any better, but the new group, new board. So we are in charge of yearly doing an inspection of the property.
I understand that.
Linda and I have been on once
Before.
Oh, yeah.
We used to do it with,
Rich.
and then everybody wanted to be educated on what we
So we called Charlotte Harding from the state
So they're supposed to
come up every now and then and do an inspection as well. So she
She thought that worked.
Where are they out of?
The state.
Oh, the state, okay.
Part of the
Yeah,
LTIP money.
thought it sounded familiar.
So she came up and walked the property lines with us to point out all sorts of things, either violations or just whatever, growth, invasive species, things that we need to be looking out for and watching.
And we marked all the boundaries all the
Yeah.
way up to the Johnson
year.
property
No, in the fall.
this past fall.
In the fall, yes.
And we report that. We have to walk the boundaries every year and make a report and turn it into the state.
And that's fine with me.
Okay.
It is. But it's only been done recent. When they first did that, they put one thing right on the corner of my property. This is conservation property. What am I?
Somebody from the state came up and deposited
One
those
person on
stones
67
so that
acres?
we could not go on that property.
Yeah,
And
that
he
was-
said to me,
That was back in, well, 100.
Yeah.
yeah,
What's
no,
been
it
that?
wasn't that long ago,
No.
maybe 5 years ago. Maybe.
Yeah.
I think it was 2000.
I've been gone out of the town for almost 5, and I was part of that project, brought in by, and the
Oh, you stood up there then when,
town manager at the time was Shane.
Yeah.
So that was
How many years ago?
I think it might have been around 2015 when all of this letter was sent out from Steve Walker.
May I ask a question then? What activities do you engage in that the letter spoke to that?
I was told Ernie and I were not allowed to go on that property. I said to that man, "You're telling me anyone in the town of Newport can go on that property and we can't?" And he said, "That's right."
Well,
Which is not, I don't know, whoever ordered the state guy.
Was it Walker?
I don't know.
Very
Whoever
unsociable.
said they wanted the rocks around our property.
we got 2 issues going on, so let me just finish up what I was trying to
yeah, the other thing is, now, yes, people do dump leaves and,
Which
some
you're not
brush.
supposed to, and you're not supposed to.
Oh, no, let me speak, will
We're
you?
gonna get into that after.
We're going to get into an
I'd
argument.
like to hear you hear my side.
All right.
They have always dumped them there forever. And it just leaves and things. I would go out with my tractor if there was rubbish or anything. Am I saying it's right? No. Bad boy. That's where you people feel. Our leaves all go up there. And I think it's wrong you're getting after 50 years, 100 years, I don't know. Russell owned it, even though his up there too. You know? If there's rubbish up there, get after us. Do you call leaves rubbish?
Yeah.
All right, then I'm gonna blow them right out on the,
I'm not quite sure
Tom.
why they would be
They're
called
leaves that
rubbish.
come from, the leaves, we have no trees in our yard. The
I
leaves
do.
in the yard are from the trees. over
And
there.
they're compostable. They're good for the dirt.
Could I finish?
They're good for the woods.
Please. Ken?
So Charlene Harding come up
And she walked
the
with
boundaries with us,
She's the one that found the
violations. Dumping leaves is compost, but it's a violation. So in the end, we were, well, how do we handle this? And she suggested a nice way to do this the first time around would be to send letters to the abutters. That's how it came about. So it's, we are yearly to go out and do the inspection. So we were headed out on an inspection. We really didn't know what we were looking for. That's how
Obviously.
she came in.
But the thing is, we can't dump, all right, you say we can't dump weeds there or grass clippings or anything, but the town of Newport can come up and dump asphalt when they're paving the roads? They're dumping asphalt in that turnaround area? Oh, well, the town goes up there and dumps stuff. But that's okay for the town to dump it and not us?
We're not aware of that.
No, well, see, that's the thing.
Okay, may I ask, and I'm sorry, Larry Schissel.
My name is Bob Ingles. I'm not in a butter, but I live next door, and I've taken my leaves up that road for 40 years and dumped them over the bank. I've seen
We
first
really
attack.
don't want that to happen.
Okay.
So
We
the
really don't want
the
that.
thing with well, it's not a matter of we. The state doesn't want it happening because right now they're worried about invasives. So if
If you're cleaning up your yard and you have invasives, and then it's dumped over, that's like trash. That's trash that you can't see. So then it starts spreading and growing. I'm just trying to explain where the state's
coming
coming
from.
Thanks for the trust.
All right.
So within 50 years, we proved that.
All right. So,
The trees, here's the thing with Ernie and me along the side. We don't own any trees there. Zero. They're all the forest. It's all Barton, Town, Conservation, whatever. It's your leaves, it's your sticks. That's what we're bringing, comes off of your property, comes onto ours, and then we're dumping it back over.
But if I have a neighbor and I'm raking up leaves from a neighbor's tree, I don't dump it on their land because I'm raking up leaves from their tree.
Okay,
I
where
can tell
do we
you
bring
that a lot blow
our
it back
leaves?
over.
all right.
A lot blow it back over.
But
Can I ask one more question? Beyond the question of where to put your organic waste, leaves, brush,
So it is
are there other particular concerns relative to the letter that went to you folks?
So,
We're not very happy that we're being accused of all this. None of you came and talked to us to see what's going on. You listened to what the state had to say.
No.
You heard one side of the story.
No. We were part of, I wasn't on that particular walk, but for the commission were.
Right.
So we were part of the walk. And I believe the tenor of the letter was just, these are things that were noticed, and these are things that are not allowed. So I don't believe there was a specific accusation to any one person. These are just general findings.
Was my name mentioned? Shepherd?
Not in the letter.
Yes,
The
it was.
letter was copied to you.
Yeah. And it said the shepherd, and I think that's me.
Yeah, but it was, I'm almost certain the letter didn't specifically have in its body, the Shepherd property is guilty of, or
No, it
is
doesn't.
found to be doing. Your name was on the letter as a recipient, I believe.
As an abutter.
we sent out, I think, 14 letters. We sent it to everybody on Summer Street.
There were more than 14 letters. I could read it. It's to no one. It's to the dear Newport resident. I'm writing this letter as a courtesy for the residents that have bought the Barton Conservation Land. And it was just that the town is responsible for monitoring. There were a few potential violations to no one. Just please be aware that altering this conservation land would result in town and state violations. And then I even gave my number to call me, which people have and been very receptive. But nowhere did we accuse, we don't have any proof of who did any of this. We didn't watch it.
Within the letter, there is a bullet
On
that
page-
states on
the second
page,
page.
That's the monitoring report.
walked bound behind a butter at 193 Summer Street, Shepherd, encroachment and passed.
That's the report that they have to file. That's not the letter. Does Shepherd live at 193? They think they were just stating the owner of 193.
That's what I was trying to say is,
It's
she
a monitoring
she pointed out
It's just a
violation
someone else
And
did
then,
that.
in the end, we were all parked at the parking area,
area,
and she
notice
noticed
the dumping. So then we,
Gunther and I,
and Don, we said, well,
how do we approach that? We know these people. We know,
you know,
how do we do this without,
she said, just send a letter out that says,
that it's
Elcher
their property,
and
and there are governances to it that you need
to monitor. So the letter was,
just to say to the butters, the 14 people, and some of those aren't butters, the people
across the street, that, hey, this is property that the town owns, but they don't own, the state gave the money.
I am right.
And, yeah, you're right. And that we have to do the monitoring. We never said the O'Sullivans got a hole in the wall. We never said
Bernie Shepherd is cutting wood over there or had ashes on the wall.
that wasn't the intent. The intent was to say, this is what
You guys need to look for
and if it continues after,
now,
but let,
them know that there are governances to the property.
and
That's what it was. There was no
no singling out of anyone.
That's your people.
Yeah,
Well,
I could see how you felt that way, but Ernie, you can't go back on what Mr. Barton did with you and shook your hand because he doesn't own it any
we were
longer.
never told that the property transferred and please stop using it.
It was back in '91.
We weren't told then.
We're about, yes.
Did you get a letter from the Attorney General of the state of New Hampshire back in
No.
2015?
I don't believe so.
Because this has been an ongoing issue.
Well, we've had people come up to the house. And that, I mean, that is the one that told us we could not use the property. Anybody else in the town could use it, which I know, they can't see that.
They were probably saying you can't use it in the manner you were using it, but you can walk on the property.
I said to him, you're telling me anyone else in the town of Newport can go on that property and we can't? And he said, that's right.
Well,
Which I know he can't say. I mean, I laughed at him at that point.
right, I understand that.
But,
We can't argue that.
right, no, you can't. But you're saying that we can't use this hole in the wall where the ATV goes through ever again? How do we access the property then?
And at the end of Summer Street, isn't there a trailhead at the end of Summer Street?
Yeah?
The gate.
It is it's gated.
Plowed
You
down,
can't,
but,
it's usually gated. We can't
not
drive a
wide enough.
snowmobile through there
It's not wide
And it's
enough.
also illegal to operate a snowmobile
on the road.
on the right-of-way, on the road.
That's why there's always been that trail there.
It was actually there back in the 70s.
Again, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I
Yeah?
do.
Okay,
We do.
it's a different time frame, and
But here's the thing that's confusing to me. As God would have it, two things have taken place that isn't great for one on me and it worked out on the other. Sunday, I'm letting, somebody was nice enough to drop off a bunch of wood from Goodrich Oil to me, so I got some piles up in my front yard.
Not from conservation land.
So I'm cutting the thing, and because I'm lazy and only want to do things once, cut it, split it, stick it in the thing, and then bring it to my wood chip. I hear a saw run. I'm thinking, wonder if somebody else is running a saw. So I keep going on. She tells me we gotta go grocery shopping. I'm letting the dog out, and who's coming down the Snake Trail? Somebody from the town of Newport blowing leaves. So
doing what?
blowing leaves.
Blowing leaves, so the bikers,
Can come down from the bike trail. So we walk up there and go through, and they've come through, and I got photos if anybody wants to see them. The town itself, either through volunteers or through another department, have moved several stone walls for these bike paths. Cut down many trees, including I got photos on Sunday, somebody cut. Now, they didn't remove the wood, but they certainly cut wood and then moved it off of the bike paths so that they'd be able to have the bike path. It's confusing
Yes, it is.
as a landowner.
They shouldn't be doing it either, and they will
I
get a
get
letter.
that.
Yeah, they're gonna get a letter.
So it's a little confusing. Now, here's the part that knew didn't know. And I probably should have known because ignorance of the law is not an excuse. Up until end of March, I hadn't so much as removed a stick off of the land. I've moved some when trees come down for snowmobiling and that kind of stuff, but dirt biking or anything, I've never owned a four-wheel. And I've certainly, because I don't own any trees, leaves and sticks that come down, I feel are yours, I give them back to you. And obviously I can't do that. So that I disagree with, but I get. But in one of the snowstorms towards the end of March, one of the one of the maples split, came down, bounced off my garage, and then was probably about 4 feet from my deck. So if you will, the section that broke is 1/3 on my land, 2/3 on yours. So I cut up the certain sections of mine. I've left some of the debris there. Did not do much damage to the garage. Busted up some shingles in that metal trim. I don't know what the hell they call it.
Drip edge.
Goes along.
Drip edge.
That and stuff, and a couple of the pads that you use, not pads, cushions for, fell down off the table that was inside the garage. Nothing major. So now I'm cutting it, and I'm like, what the hell? So I'm cutting the thing, and I'm now on conservation land, no doubt about it. And I got probably 1/3 more of it. And it hits me, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, because the last time a tree came down, I called, we had a tree fort, and we bought the house in '88. There was 2 other trees, both maples. They came down in the yard. Well, one came down, the whole thing came down in the yard, and only part of another. The part that stayed was definitely on conservation land at the time. Dan O'Neill came up and said, don't worry about Dennis, cut that. So when I'm cutting the darn thing, that's what I'm thinking. What's the big deal? Well, because I'm fat and lazy and didn't get it all done and out of breath. So I'm cut that on a Monday, Tuesday, I work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Letter comes on Monday. And now I'm like, oh, isn't this just beautiful, God? Thank you very much. So I haven't touched the thing. It's cut. At least
On your
1/3 to 2/3 is left.
side.
Over on the other side of the fence.
It's there.
Is there. Don't know whether you want me to donate to somebody. Don't know if you want me to leave the darn thing there and let it rock in place. I don't know. The third that was
I
on
will
my
say I don't
property
know. It would be a question. In fact, like I stated in the beginning, we got her up here because we're green at this. We don't know all the rules and regulations either. So that would be a question that I think I would ask. As an abutter, I would probably have done just what you've done, but I don't know that.
They're allowed to cut anything that falls. They cannot say you can't touch trees that are falling on your property.
Right.
So
You're
that-
No.
allowed to
So-
cut them.
I'm pretty sure you can clearly
Clear
maintain your own property.
Well, what about the side that,
Probably leave it.
So you leave this stump sticking out like this?
It's on the Barton property to be natural, yeah. On the Barton property, not on yours, but it should stay, yeah, in its natural element.
So this
It's got a
brings me
rock.
to another question.
Well, I think,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt, Barry, but I think in the case here with that maple tree, obviously you cut what's on your property, but I would definitely be contacting the town, definitely say, look, this tree fell from the Barton property onto my house, I'd like to just remove it, its entirety. Just ask someone here, maybe
On the
Christina would be the person
commission,
to
I
ask.
would think.
Yeah, it would- that's the commission. If the town's up there blowing leaves and dumping.
Yeah, with the Conservation Commission, and we can find out.
As a homeowner myself, I would be calling the town.
Yeah.
It may be Christina.
If you're at all
And then the-
concerned, obviously you could call me. I can, if you're on your own private property and whatever falls out of the sky onto it from wherever, you have a right to take it off, to get rid of it.
that part's gone.
So this brings me
Yes.
to another question.
But the other.
So we have,
I think the other part you have to leave. It's just whatever falls in the woods that is in the woods on the Barton property, they want it to be natural to let whatever rodents would live in that, I don't know, or eat, or hide or make, that's what I think the concept of the natural and untouched.
so my question, obviously we have a couple of classic cars in our garage. There is some questionable trees on conservation land that we are worried, they're dead, they're rotting, they're, obviously
It's a
your
huge
pines and your hemlocks don't have a deep rooting system. What can we do about that? We obviously don't want them falling on the garage.
I think Christina can bring that to,
To go to
and
legal on that, or Belgium.
legal, just have the town go out and cut the darn things.
We can't.
No, you can't do that.
We can't, we're not allowed to, like, when they say Newport is doing this, we're in violation.
Right, it's stupid.
How does
Stupid.
Newport manage to cut
They're
right
in,
up
I
that
just
road?
said they're in violation, so if some people are doing it that are unaware, like say it was, I'm assuming the direct Department of Public Works. They need to be notified that they are that we would be, the town of Newport would be in violation for doing that. Absolutely, they are absolutely wrong. We cannot, in theory, we're not above the law, like, we can't say, we're not allowed to kill people, but
We're not allowed to.
Let me-
right, we can and you
Let me
can't.
speak to one part of that I believe. When the parcel was purchased by the town, the easement included a few specifics, and one was recreation. So a certain amount of tree work and leaf clearing
Could be done on the trail.
can be
I
done
really don't have
within
nothing
the...
against any of that.
So if part of it's recreation, how come you can't ride a four-wheeler or snowmobile?
The only thing is, to that, and I'm going to hopefully be able to summarize a few things that we will follow up on for you. There are designated trails, and there were never meant to be people cutting their own trails, and if there was if it looked as if people were cutting their own trails even to access the regular trails, that is not part of the...
That
Lease.
would have been done before the town ever purchased that property.
May have, but...
And it hasn't ever changed.
We're going to have to...
Yep.
We're going to have to do some research for it.
Okay.
So can I summarize a few things? Unless, Barry, did you have a question?
Well, I just think, if there's a danger to damage property, that needs to be, if we gotta go to the state and say, these trees are gonna come down,
They could harm someone or
yeah,
their property.
then somebody needs to do that.
I've got that written down,
That's
yes.
ridiculous. but,
We have
you
a
know,
tree
That's a
in the
simple
yard.
call to Charlotte to find out what we
Exactly.
are permitted to
Okay.
do, to
Exactly.
protect private land.
The other thing, as I read this, there's some statements in here about, in one of these, light recreation. So that kind of goes towards your statement about why can't this, it should be only light recreation that's taking place in there.
See, there's a lot of things in there that we don't even know about. And
Yeah.
again, the recreational
Well, I didn't know
end,
about it.
I really don't have an argument with. Maybe some of them do. I back PJ on just about everything he does.
Good.
He's someone that does do right for this town. I hope we don't ruin it for them.
Oh, you won't.
Nothing's going to be ruined. We're trying to work as a group.
I've been up there a billion times. There's people taking axes, chopping wood on these big trees. Of course they're gonna die, so they got more room.
But we need to know that. That's what we need to know, because we're not out there, all the time. That's what I would appreciate, is just knowledge.
Yeah,
But
those,
when we go and look at a boundary, and things are happening on the boundary, that's what we're concerned about. Plain and
So
simple.
next
Our
time-
job is to walk the boundaries every fall, to look for encroachments, to make sure the boundaries are clear, and now we've begun to mark the boundaries as conservation land, which we've never done, and report it to the state. That's our simple job.
So
Yes.
something small for me, but it was really quite shocking. I don't know if you guys can just send out a letter and say, hey, we're going to be up in the area.
Yeah.
The last time the gentleman came and did this, I was out with my German Shepherd, out back. He was in the wood line in my backyard. I had no idea who that was, no identification. I had no clue who it was. Now,
That's scary.
thankfully,
Well,
my
it's-
shepherd
know.
did not, but very well could have decided he's going to protect me and go after that person. I, again, have no idea who this man is in my backyard. What are you doing here? I have a bedroom with a glass window that is right there.
Yeah.
You don't expect people to be there, you know?
Yep, no, that's,
I'd like
that's
some-
a
I'd
valid,
like
that's a
somebody
val-
to
that's a-
say-
It's a valid point.
And he could have just said, hello, I'm here.
Yeah.
But no, he walked out
When
and
was,
was like,
Yeah,
when
it's
was
a-
this?
2015.
2015?
I believe his
So it
name
probably
was
was Steve
Walker.
Walker.
Yes.
And he probably was he on the boundary? Was he
He was
on?
he was, from what I understand, I called and talked to a supervisor down there over him. So his side of the story, if I can remember right, because you're going back.
let me
8
just
years.
stop you for a minute because I was there. He started out on conservation land,
Yeah.
crossed that and came into my backyard.
Okay.
No, that's
Well,
wrong.
that's
You
wrong.
shouldn't have done
But
that.
his thing
But-
was is that I'm standing on the conservation land, and that's very true, as I explained to him. But you literally, I think I have 25 feet from the house to the stone wall. And he was standing, according to him, 3 feet on the conservation side. German Shepherd don't know whether it's 25 feet to his town line or whether it's 28. And when Melanie went out, the guy turns and walks away, doesn't want to identify himself, doesn't want to do anything.
Well, he's wrong.
That was
Yes,
appropriate.
that was.
And I can attest to the fact I would not go in their house with that dog there.
So,
Believe me.
needless to say, I called and said, come on, guys. And at that time, truth be told, I had the old dog jumps, the old dog run, 3 of the yellow fencing that I used to put on the common,
The training.
so training for the dog, all that stuff was there, along with some ash. And either you guys, the board before, or the state, whoever, I says, listen, they wanted to pay for somebody to do it. I said, no. Stone wall, you'll land my land. I didn't have it there, let me remove the stuff, and I have. I'm just, who do I talk to about the tree?
So can we agree that the boundary is the most important thing
Right.
for us?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So we're looking for no encroachment, no leaves, no trash, and it's for everybody. For everybody.
And I'm looking for
And-
somebody to come out, if I'm there, and say, hey,
That's fine.
Yeah.
it's
And we'll make
me,
sure
that's
I'm
valid.
doing this for this,
Yes.
that it's courtesy.
And we will call Charlotte or somebody from the
Find out
state,
about the
LCHIP, about the questionable trees.
Yeah.
And we'll mark them and try to get them taken care of.
And if you find, whatever you call them, encroachments, misdemeanors, whatever you want to call them, are you going to tell us, or is it going to be, 6 months later that we get a letter saying, hey, you're in trouble?
No, it would be, that's what I was trying to say is,
You just let
We
us
went out-
know.
we went out and she found the violations.
Yeah.
Okay, let me do this a little different. So she steps out and she finds the violations. Her thing is to cite you right then. Our thing was, this is the neighborhood. How do we handle this?
Thank you.
And she said, nicely, send them a letter, everyone. Don't point fingers. Send everybody that's in a butter a letter. And we sat down as a board and said, well, I'm sure there's people down the road bringing leaves too, so we shouldn't be just, right, okay, all right?
Right.
Okay,
The town of Newport throws stuff up there.
hey,
So-
we got it written down. You guys have brought us some,
You have to keep us
you've brought us some
up
stuff
to
too.
speed. I mean,
Right, okay.
and, yeah.
And so where is this going? Where is this letter going? Because I did note somewhere in here that the AG's office was going to be contacted, so that makes us feel like there's charges coming, or...
The AG has contacted, I'm trying to track that down, in 2015.
Yeah, but that was
But-
back then.
But that was then.
There has been no contact with the
Exactly.
AG and no intention to contact
Right.
any authorities from our inspection.
So
from
what we did was,
2022.
we did our inspection with Charlotte. We found out what we should do with the letter. But our mission is to do this inspection for the state. So when we go out and we repost the property lines And if we did or didn't, even if we didn't find violations, we have to send a report into the state, to them.
So-
They're the ones that would say, oh, all right, now we're going to send, let's pick on Ernie. So Ernie's doing.
Oh, don't do that.
Well, he's
Don't do that.
he's in the front row. Now, you got a gun. So
So does Ernie.
we keep finding, we keep sending back our report,
Yeah,
and we say, what is it, 190 something, whatever the heck it is. Ernie's cutting trees. Yeah, they're still cutting trees. They're still cutting trees. We don't send you anything. Then she sends something to the AG. See what I'm trying to say? We're doing their work, and I think it was every 5 or
I think
10
if-
years
I
that they
think-
come out. Something.
There's supposed to be, though, an annual warrant by us.
Yes, but
Yeah.
the
And
state
file
will
an
come
annual
out.
report as well.
Yeah, but the state will come out.
so fast
5 or 10.
forward 2 years and somebody parks at the end of the road where you now allow parking, which wouldn't be there if everybody hadn't dumped stuff there. All right, so they park there, go for their hike, come back and throw their water bottle. Are we going to be in trouble for that? How do you know that it was them and not us that threw it?
No,
Another thing is,
You know?
Why would you think you'd be in trouble?
really,
Right, that's our point.
no.
You haven't, do you know that, Walker?
Do I know?
Yeah. I'd like to have you talk with him just once, see what
yeah.
a unsociable
Steve
person
Walker?
he is.
Yes,
Yeah,
he was nasty.
he was.
That's why you feel, that's the way I feel.
That
Yeah.
not have happened.
Well, you'd like Charlotte, so.
Okay, so,
At this point, can I
I'm president,
just summarize
so
some
I'm
things? if-
Yes,
if-
please.
As long as the family
Yes,
is
please.
involved here.
I do have another question though, that,
Okay.
now, how much more conservation land do we own in town?
Quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
Do we?
Yeah.
We.
And
own
all is
easements
inspected?
most.
Yep.
Have you had this problem with anyone else?
No.
Do we have a map of all these
Yes.
properties?
We have one issue.
I would like one.
Now,
We have
hold
one
on.
issue up in North Newport with a snowmobile bridge that
Yep,
they
yep.
keep
But
building bigger and bigger. That's
Yep.
it.
But
But
this,
this is the only property that
That
has a residential
Yeah.
area beside it.
Yeah.
Two properties up on Barton Whitney Road, Blueberry Ridge Road,
Yeah.
and the only, and
Bird Road.
and the Johnson, which is the town forest up under Coit Mountain.
Oh, that's ours too? Or-
yes.
Yeah.
That's the
Or the
town's.
state,
But-
so.
But those aren't owned by the town. They
Like
we
400
only own
acres, is that correct?
easements if you.
But this property, because the state is involved, is because of the L-chip, which is money from the state, was used to purchase this land.
So it came
So
with,
money says it all.
so
So-
it came
Because
with rules.
because that's, it comes with rules, because
It
the
came with
state
rules.
gave the town the money to purchase the land.
It's.
okay, so I have to ask again then. So you guys don't have any action after this letter?
No.
Does the state?
No.
No.
Not
Because
in-
we
not-
wanted to go softly. We thought this was a
I have
soft,
neighbors that said that the O'Sullivans and we were slammed really hard in that letter.
It wasn't.
You're
We got
talking,
the
you're
line.
talking, you're talking in the, you believe in the inspection.
Probably.
Because the letter just says.
Right, the letter, right,
Right.
yeah.
I don't have a
Oh, we
problem with
got this
anybody
whole
inspecting
packet.
it.
It's
I
like,
don't.
wow, they're really out to get
All I
you
want to do is be
guys.
treated fair.
but we want cooperation on this, because we don't want to harass you, we don't want to report you, but we want the boundaries taken
So you're
care
gonna
of.
let us know when somebody's up there.
But
Yeah,
I
let me-
can't dump my leaves.
Make sure we do that.
That's
there,
right.
But the town of Newport
Then don't
won't bring
send
stuff
water.
up and dump them?
No.
The town
Well,
doesn't
that's
do
been
that.
going on.
But you
Let
need
me
to tell
summarize
us.
again so we can, the points, and I assure you, we will follow up on these.
Okay.
Number one, we will do some investigation about leaves. You know, we don't believe it's going to be an issue, a situation that local abutters can dump their yard waste. But I think it's a valid thing to discuss with the state that a lot of the leaves come from the
From their
forest.
property, yeah.
I think it's worth a discussion. We'll follow up on it. Number two, if the town is dumping, we'll keep part of that in the discussion as well. You know, it doesn't seem completely fair that it's for the
One-sided.
goose, but not the gander. Okay? Access to trails, and I did hear that you said some of this was historic. So we'll just ask those questions of the state, maybe if,
So when you talk, I'm sorry for interrupting. The main snowmobile trails comes up from behind Pearson H or behind,
yeah, out on Central
comes up
Street.
what they call Baptist Hill,
Yeah,
comes across, used to be the ambulance director, Tracy's property. It comes across, Stonewall's been gone, people were snowmobiling there in the 70s. Dottie Dodge, who's since passed, was telling me about it. Anyways, comes up, and it comes right across where, it used to come out right where the Barton Trail. If you start to go up the very first left, very first right, is the Barton Trail. That's where it was forever. The snowmobile trail would come back down, you go by the water tower, you come down by the ski jump, around the school, and then connect onto the super highway, they call it. Been there for years. They used to go across with the ice, now there's a bridge down there. So it's definitely coming across the Barton land. This past year, from several years ago, the town did land clearing up there, and they've now come across to where the log landing was, whoever was doing the stuff for the project. And there used to be huge rocks. The rocks were moved so that the snowcat could come through and groom. So it was being groomed. I'm hoping, really hoping, as a snowmobiler, that the snowmobile trail isn't closed down, because that affects
Now,
hundreds, if not thousands of people that connect from the railroad bed here to the railroad bed
yeah,
over
there's
the
no
other side.
intention
there's
that
no
that is.
intention on, there's no intention on shutting any activity down in the sense of recreational. It's in the deed. The recreational use is within that deed. That was written into it.
The only concern was there was an appearance that some people were accessing those trails from their private property to connect into the trails.
That's true, that was me.
And
Yeah.
you're saying
And
that
we
that
do
was,
not winter
and-
snow.
and you're
We'll
saying
look
that was
into it, you say
historical.
that some of this
Yes.
is historic.
Yep.
Right.
All right, we'll do some investigation for you.
If you want to know who cut some of them trails, it was Truman Merrill, who is now dead. He was a logger when he went up on that hill and left that all nice for us, but it was already there.
Well,
I can't guarantee or promise anything.
I don't expect.
You know, the expectation is that the trails would be accessed the way people access from the ends, but,
Yeah.
you know, or Central and Summer Street or whatever, but the overhangs, we will look into the legality, we'll look at, and, you know, there could be a, you know, windy spring, it could be like an immediate issue that we
That's
gotta
what we're afraid
deal
of,
with.
because that wind comes right down over that hill.
And the trees.
Future, we'll try to be cognizant of future inspections and let local folks know. I'm not sure how the most efficient way to, you know, because I'm not sure we can easily call a
Right.
dozen homes or butters,
Not
but
gonna
we'll
do it.
But
try to
we-
disseminate information in some fashion for future.
but, excuse me, but when we went up, we were definitely on the Barton side and walked along the wall and did markings on the Barton side.
Now, last fall.
Right.
Yeah.
And that
And I
goes
told
all the way
Gunther
up.
That was a good thing.
Okay.
I'm glad of that.
And we're,
Also, one of my frustrations with the town is, I think the town needs a leaf dumping and brush,
Something.
Well, that's
dumping collection.
what I was gonna ask Ken. I know we don't work for the town anymore.
Right.
But
No,
at
but
one
we need
time,
a site.
They had a brush thing
Right.
down by the town shed.
Right.
Town shed.
Right.
I don't know if that's still there.
No.
All right. But then, I don't know, used to have the leaf, the town used to, come
Right.
into town and pick up the town residents'
Right.
leaves.
Right.
but they never came up our way to pick up leaves.
Well-
I mean, I have 5 pickup truck loads. I'm not gonna lie, like I told them, I bring 5 pickup truck loads of leaves up there a year.
But you need to contact us. We just really don't want leaf dumping.
I
So
know,
it
but
needs
this
to
is,
go somewhere.
but I've lived there 40 years.
I know.
And this is the first time anybody has said it.
Ever said anything to us that this wasn't allowed?
So, not that it's.
We're only trying to do our job and it's.
Yeah,
I put on the spot.
So now that it's,
Publicize.
Somebody's got to do it. If we don't speak up, you haven't even got a job.
Well, no, we appreciate it, Bob.
Can I ask how we'll be notified of these concerns that we've all brought up tonight? The outcome
We'll
of
send
it.
you a letter.
send you a letter.
I could do a general letter, and then if there's specifics that's pertaining to anyone, like this tree, obviously you're worried about those dead trees.
Well, once I
We're
read the RSA, I got a little stressed.
Well, right, but we can't have, what if one of you got harmed from falling of a tree? So we're gonna look into that, but then if anyone else is concerned in general about dead trees, at least we'll have the knowledge of what can be done. Maybe you tell us and someone does go and remove trees that are a potential hazard to people.
I went to the town. I got an oak up there this big who is dying. But there again, has a trillion damn, it cost me, not me, my insurance, $6,000 to fix that damage that tree did. That I have asked several times.
It fell on your property.
No, the debris from the tree.
The nuts.
It's a big oak
Oh,
tree.
the nuts.
They come right down and I'm telling you, you couldn't believe that year what it did to that truck.
It's good that you're here tonight, because, you know, those are the things that typically aren't addressed,
Right.
but
Yeah.
definitely need addressing, especially if there are trees that can fall.
That's right.
A neighbor's
It doesn't
property,
look-
which
If
is town
if
owned.
that
it's a
tree
huge
ever
tree.
falls of its own
No,
decision, it's going to go across the road and knock out the power lines.
Take up the house next door.
And, or
Across the
two,
road.
two houses
That's the
across.
oak tree that you.
Right on the corner. Yeah.
Is that on conservation?
I've
Yes.
taken so many trees down on that street you can't imagine,
I would
on
assume
private
it's-
land.
Yeah, there you go.
Living and solid, it would be.
So basically, it's the only one left.
I wouldn't have thought it was a hazard. I'm gonna look into hazard, we're gonna
Okay.
look into legally
Hazardous,
hazard, because if you pretend it was like my private property living next door, and a tree of mine fell on someone's house,
You're
my
responsible.
insurance is liable. So there's gotta be, we'll figure this out.
Okay.
And I would in theory cut it before, if it was dying and dead, so we're,
7:20.
like Larry said, we'll figure this
Okay.
out. And get back to everyone specifically. And you can always call me for anything else.
Thank you.
And at
We're
least
gonna
by the
advertise
time we
something,
meet
but-
next month, so.
I just want to say that they don't advertise it, but there is a leaf dump down at the sewer treatment plant.
All right, can you get in there?
He leaves it open from 8 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock at night.
All right, all right.
And you can only dump leaves.
Yeah,
No-
yeah, yeah.
No branches, no.
Yeah.
But I want to
And
do,
that's where the town dumps.
Yeah, I know they had the pile down there, but
Yeah.
I always was under the impression, like the
Yeah.
town,
No.
everything's blocked up.
No,
Yeah.
no.
All right.
but
'cause-
I want to do something with branches and
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah,
other than leaves.
I mean, all right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep us
Thank you.
informed, please.
thank you for your time.
And please,
Thank you for coming out.
respect the boundaries. That's
You're
all we're
really glad we
asking.
came into y'all, aren't you?
No, that's-
You can tell it's been Larry.
You guys are really calm. I'm a select.
Just trying to make a point, that's
Well,
all.
we're both learning.
Yeah,
We're
Yeah.
the commission.
and we're all in the same town, we're
I
trying to
wasn't
figure
going
out
to
how.
tell you about the letter because I knew what it was going to do.
We,
That's okay.
I have another thing that, now you go up that road, up,
Oh, we know.
that's also town land on the left, is that correct?
Yes, but it's not L-chip land.
Beyond the
Yeah. The
gate,
gate, all that,
The water tower.
do you guys inspect that?
It's not L-chip land.
And if
that wasn't purchased.
Oh, so that really is town land.
That's the real.
Don't you touch it!
Just let me show.
Over there.
No, but I think we'll be putting conservation tags up down through there. We want to do all the properties as conservation land, so.
Well, I don't want to say anything. I guess I'm not doing them. I was going to give you a Dick Winslow shot, but I didn't.
I'll tackle you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you for coming in.
We're moving on.
Yeah.
Just one,
Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Have a good evening.
I'd like to thank you guys for
We'll definitely stay in touch.
I hope not to see you again.
Apologize.
I'm going to tell you, my wife and I are putting our property up for sale.
So, if you have concerns,
And a lot of it's
call up Christine,
Yes.
there,
Anything
anything like that.
And we
Let
meet,
her
and we
know.
meet every third Wednesday of the month.
Okay.
You don't have to come in.
And I do look forward to seeing a letter,
Yeah.
you know, just to address the
We will.
outcome of it.
We will.
Okay, we will do that.
Absolutely.
If you just call one of us, we can pass
I,
it
but
together. and, you
don't
know,
worry, I will, yes, absolutely, no, yes, I'm gonna let everybody, resend out a letter.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thanks all.
All right, now that we got, we haven't done the minutes.
Let's
So
do
we'll get-
Paul Brown first.
Well, it only takes a second to do the minutes. I want to try to keep to this. So, did people look through the minutes?
Make a motion.
There were two sets of minutes. There was
Laura has presented them.
for both March 15th and
I wasn't here for
the April
5th,
yes,
so.
thing. Okay, we've got a motion to accept both both nights. Second. Okay, additions, deletions, or changes?
I think they're pretty complete.
On the March 15th, during the discussion under Ron DeCola, somewhere in there, I'd like it noted that at one point I kind of suggested that rather than appeals or you don't call them appeals, but submission of plans to the planning board are always before our meeting, the week before, but I inserted that it could be looked at the other way. They come to us first, and then they go 3 to 4 weeks later to the planning board, especially in the situation where it might require wetlands or...
I think it should be every plan.
Really?
Like,
Well, if
page one.
That's a lot of
down at the
work.
Yeah,
bottom.
somewhere, I don't, it was pretty near the end of that particular discussion, but I'd just like it noted that I did suggest that we could change that paradigm, that we look at plans first before they go to the planning board.
There are, yeah,
Okay,
the
instead
plan,
of having two planning boards, have conservation first and planning board the next.
All I was saying as a suggestion, it was a suggestion by me that plans could be looked at by us first before they go to the planning board, obviating the need of, a two-phase planning board review.
But Christina wants a two-phase planning board.
I was, right, with the larger project, because legally, unless
Well,
you...
we don't get it, we don't need to discuss
Yeah,
that just now.
change the-
I
I'm just saying
understand
that's
that.
what I wanted in the
Yes.
minutes.
Yes, I think
I
that's a
just
good
wanted in the
idea.
minutes that I said that.
Yes, I think that's...
Barry
Okay.
seconded, who was the motioner, please?
Ken.
Ken? Thank you.
Okay. With changes noted, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstaining from,
Yeah.
we're abstaining from the 10th.
The what?
We weren't here,
Yeah, so you're abstaining.
just
okay.
on that.
So
Okay.
2 abstentions on the
10th.
10.
Point of order,
Yeah.
because I always abstain from not there. Legally, if you've read the minutes,
That's good now.
You don't have to.
Oh, okay.
I did not know that.
Didn't know that. I was just going by your
I'm
rules.
just let all of us know that I'm trying to be part of it.
You're Mr. Roberts.
You're
Mr.
yeah.
Mike.
you're Mr. Roberts. Okay. Paul Brown, thank you for waiting for us.
Really, sorry.
So, this is the, where is it on there?
it's under new business, Paul Brown,
Okay,
treasurer.
yes, there's a treasurer's report,
Thank you, Paul.
and
More paper?
Paul would not necessarily need to be present for the treasurer's reports. We hope that we can get one periodically. But I think there were might have been some specific questions about this particular one, because we hadn't seen one for a year. And to that, did anybody, did we have a copy of this to prepare for the meeting, or is this everybody seeing it for the first time?
I gave you the June 30th, 2022 report that Paul gave me, because you guys asked me for it last meeting.
Yeah.
That's in your packets.
Yeah.
And you could compare it, and then, right.
Right, and then,
It's the same thing, different.
Than the February one that I sent.
They sent you sent it to them also, yes.
So
Yes.
the difference between the one that you got in February and this one is $11.44.
Where'd that go?
You count.
Can I just ask a question?
Yeah, please.
Mr. Chairman, I didn't bring any of that stuff with me, but I noticed that on one previous, that things were deducted for, and given back to the town. Quite a bit of money.
General fund.
A general fund. And I thought it was taken out twice.
Nope.
Well, you say no, but might be.
Trust me, Barry? Nope.
I trust you, Paul.
We're all humans, right?
Yeah.
Don't give me-
Sometimes we can make
hold
mistakes.
on.
So a little bit of history.
Yeah.
Back when Nancy Parkman was chairman and John Lieberman was the treasurer, there was a separate Conservation Commission checkbook. Those checks were co-signed with the treasurer from the Conservation Commission and the town treasurer. There's no real legal authority for the Conservation Commission to have a treasurer or to need to co-sign checks. The state law says that the conservation funds will be held by the town treasurer.
Yeah.
There were some years of different management for the Conservation Commission, and at that point in time, the money was truly turned over to the town treasurer in full. It started out as a checkbook. We were getting away from having checks out of the accounting system. So the only time we do checks that aren't recorded in the accounting system are manual transfers from the airport fund, from the Conservation Commission, from the drug task force money. So there's different pockets of money that are accounted for separately, and then money is moved out of that account and back to the general fund. For our auditors, we run all checks through the general fund. So if the town is paying a bill, it's getting written out of the general fund. And that is 99.8% of the time. I can't think of one that isn't, but in case there is one, don't hold me to it. But almost all of our checks are written from the general fund.
Yeah.
And then we set up what's called a due from account, a receivable account from that fund. That money is sucked out occasionally, annually, it depends what the timing is. With the Conservation Commission, there were 4 or 5 years that I got a little busy in town, and we didn't pull the money out. We knew we were good for it, we knew we had the money in just a different account. So that year,
That might have been it.
2017, we pulled $21,401.16 for, yes, a list of items, and I can tell you what they all were.
I've seen that, yeah.
So that did happen. Right now, you sit with $1,265 due back to the general fund. That is 4 years of Conservation Commission Association checks, dues, and a $15 payment for a publication from the New Hampshire Timberlands Association. So those 4. I think I said in my email to you last month, I want to pull that before June 30, just so our
Okay.
as of June 30, our accounts will be clear with any money back and forth. Those invoices, those 4 invoices were paid with the approval of the Conservation Commission for their delegate, and if you don't want me to use your delegate from town,
Yeah,
I
that's
will
okay.
require a signature from the chairman. I think 3 of those were signed by the chairman. So that's the way we operate there.
Good information, thank you.
Yeah.
I will say also, my apologies, you don't get these monthly. It's, I'm sorry to say, a little bit of a redheaded stepchild, because it's not on the books. It's accounted for in the accounting, in the town system, but that report right there is a generated statement. It's not something I can go here and print from the computer. I need to do a little math. I would like to, if it's acceptable to you, get to a quarterly basis. So
That would be great.
Getting them to you every quarter.
Yeah.
Because most of the time it is $11.45.
Right. But that might change if we get money from the town, correct?
You would have one transaction a year of $1,200 paid in.
Right. And then,
I'm not going to certainly divvy that out by quarter or anything else. It's just going to be a one-time payment as far as I'm concerned.
right. But that's going to come into our account.
Yes.
Right. And we'll have a line item on this, right?
Would that show up in the first quarter report, that additional $1,200?
So you would see it, if we did go to quarterly reporting, you would see it in September 30th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. The only thing that Don Shagan had left with me was we did get a report in June of '22, and that reflected a $315 expenditure. But then the most recent one here in February, due to general fund, and I can't reconcile all of that in my head.
I think what was the due to general fund on the June 30? Should have been $650.
960.
Okay,
So that was
so that's
3
where
years.
that difference is showing.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, so you just keep adding
I just keep adding, until I pay the town, I just keep that.
So it looks,
all right.
we think you're taking it out every time, I think.
No. It's
Oh,
just-
right, that's what's.
So it gets accounted for
confusing.
there, and then eventually it
That
gets
tells like
transferred.
Adding.
It gets transferred and that gets cleaned out.
That's
Goes
what
back
we're
to
not.
zero.
That's what you keep thinking it keeps coming out.
Yeah. No,
Okay, that's it.
We recognize you're a very busy guy. If we could get a periodic.
Like I say, quarterly, and then it's more a case
You'll
of
keep
reminding.
track.
Yeah.
I can put it in my calendar to.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
So, Paul, could you give us history on the cutting, the land cutting?
Yeah.
All right. How much did we make?
So in 2015,
And that was only due to blowdown. That wasn't
Right.
cutting in the sense of
I need to get
generating the...
Okay.
I do apologize
That's all right.
because when I get a check in, it goes directly to your account.
Okay.
So it goes directly to the savings account for the Conservation Commission. So that wasn't netted out at the $21,000.
Oh,
So you paid Timber Bay State Forest Products $61.74.71 to cut the trees and to process it.
say that again?
You paid them $6,174.71. I think you received about $11,000, but
I thought it was more than that.
if you want me to, if you've got anything else to do, I can run upstairs and get that.
No,
here.
that's okay. That's
I
okay.
can tell you.
No,
But
that's okay.
and then in 2018, you paid $91.58, and I think that was the planned cut. Was that the planned?
That was the planned cut for
That pump,
the
the water.
water, and we got that back.
No.
9158?
The planned cut for the water was 2020 or 21.
21.
So this would have been cut in the town forest. So
Oh, that we did extra cutting.
there was the blowdown
Yeah.
cut.
Oh, and then,
Then we, while we were in there, we did
Yes.
Yeah.
That was done in two.
two phases, yeah.
And so you received monies there too.
Right. So that, I think it was around 40,000. I think
that
that we
was
got that.
Combined, it could be. And
Right.
if you paid them $9, that would
Right.
make sense. It was-
Did any of that money go to the rec department?
No.
Okay.
No.
When we did the
Gelman Pond.
yeah, the forest management, where we hired Jeremy Turner, Meadowsend.
He came out and did the evaluation.
Yeah, on all the properties.
There was $150 paid for Gilman Pond Walk with Conservation Commission to Meadowsend.
That was the walkthrough.
That was the walkthrough.
But, no, these were the,
The management.
yeah, the forestry management plan. I think that was 11,000.
I think that was paid for by the water department.
Oh, they paid the whole thing?
Water and sewer was their property.
It's
No,
their-
no, because we did town forest, we did, I think, this other one.
They might have billed it, you have not,
I-
the Conservation Commission has not paid a bill other than walking Gilman Pond.
Let's keep it
Great,
that way.
okay,
All
yeah,
right.
yeah, that's good.
Let me just say, unless it was part of the 9158 that was paid in 2018 to Meadowsend, I don't know what that, I don't have that
Breakdown.
invoice. Looking back through all the emails, I had sent it to you
You had sent a bunch of invoices
in
to
October
some.
of 22. You have the actual invoice, so you can see if
Okay, okay,
if it was paid or not. But since I've been in town, any cutting in the town forest, the money has gone to the conservation.
okay, great,
Sugaring goes to the school. And
okay.
Which it should.
in the past, the school has done the management, but even their cutting, when it got processed, the proceeds came back to the town.
Huh?
That's for conservation land,
Yeah,
and the town forest. The water, Gilman Pond,
right,
that property was bought by the water users.
right,
They paid to cut, they got the proceeds.
right,
Yeah, because that's not part of our,
Right, that's not part of it.
even though we did do the forestry management plan for the,
For that.
for that land,
Okay.
yeah.
And that was a big part.
Yeah.
I know, I need to shut up.
we didn't pay, let's just be quiet.
No, but that's what prompted the cut, was the plan, so, yeah,
Exactly.
so,
So
good, nice.
that's where we stand. So the account is sitting in a joint savings account with the airport money, with conservation money, with the rec building money, and there's one more thing in there, just to try and bulk it up so we earn more interest, and the interest is allocated based on the average daily balance.
Buddy,
How do you break the interest down?
Excel spreadsheet based on average daily balance.
I just have a concern, because, and it has really nothing to do with you, but maybe you know the answer. When you were sick, Maura stepped up and did a lot of work. Did we pay for that? Because I heard very directly that money's going to be coming from Maura, it's going to come out of Conservation Commission.
That has not happened to date.
I don't think it should. I mean, she worked for planning, she worked for others.
There would be no money. If
Well-
Laura works extra, I pay, it comes out of
I
money.
know that,
Right.
but it was said, and I heard it, that that money is going to come out of Conservation Commission. I just want to make sure it didn't. I heard that very directly, and I'm not going to say any more than that.
I would say that has not happened to date.
Well, let's not bring it up then.
I was never directed to do that. And I would think that would be between this board and the select board.
Yeah. Well, that didn't come from the select board.
How
Narrows it
I
down.
believe this would be between
This board and that board.
the select board.
Well, thank you, Paul, for that.
I have another question. Sorry. How much money does the town get from, one, the timber tax, and two, taking land out of,
Land use change tax?
yeah.
We budget about 21,000 combined. In the last year and a half, we have doubled that, just with the building boom that has gone on.
Yeah.
But generally, we are lucky to make that. So we're generally lucky to do $20,000 a year. Well, other than the last 2 years.
And, and how does the town use that?
It is used to offset property tax.
Because a lot of conservation commissions get a percentage of that money.
I saw something going around the finance officer's listserv with asking that question, and I saw everything from 0 to 100%.
To what? Say that again?
From 0 to 100%.
Oh, wow.
There are ranges all over the place.
Yeah.
We'd take 20.
Well, one place was 50% up to 20 or 15 or something. So it was 50% of what got taken in, but there was a cap on it. That's one way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of ways to do it.
Yeah.
and that's a town meeting vote.
A town meeting vote?
I believe so.
That would require a warrant because
Right.
the
Yeah.
voters would have to approve it.
So our budget, is that a town warrant? Did we get that as a
No,
town
it's in
warrant?
the operating budget, which is, we'll know May 9th.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, it's actually, it was nice to see it was, we actually do have a line item in the town budget.
oh, great.
Paul did that, thank you, Paul.
Nice,
Okay.
thank you.
I was directed to do it.
Thank you.
We appreciate your support.
All righty, questions, any additional? Good.
Good information, Paul, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
you.
Appreciate it.
You'll get to the Bruins before us. The Bruins.
Can't get the game out.
I wish, yeah, I know, that would be distracting, I think, but,
All right, moving on then, additional business.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
The
Paul.
Bruins are 0-0 minute in, the Red Sox are losing 3-0.
Oh, what's new? Yeah.
Third.
Oh,
Yeah, nothing new on either of them. Well, that the Bruins aren't ahead, but the Red Sox will see.
It's only a minute.
I know, really.
Only a minute.
Thanks. Night, thanks.
Thank you, Paul.
Long season. We're 62.
No dumping signs.
My God.
Yeah, do we want to touch that right now?
I haven't seen them, and I'd like to go up and look at the property again, and
Yeah, we did.
because I know that they can be a hindrance on the plow truck turning around, and there should be some oversight before they just.
Signs are in though, the two signs.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and they said, you guys could decide where to put them. I was thinking that maybe they would based on, they know where they're driving and everything.
Yeah, but
But whatever works, you guys
I
decide.
if that's okay, I could connect somebody
Yeah, I
down
think-
there. And,
Yeah,
but-
I think it'd be good to have Ken go and look at that.
yeah.
and then I'll connect down with highway and
Nominate yourself.
what I can
Nominate
do.
you.
What I can do, I'll do.
Every left and highway.
It's very, I love very little slides.
I know.
You listen to very few people. Although I have someone.
I can remedy that for you.
Any other old business that people want to bring back in front of us? A couple quick things. We did have, that's administration, so the Main Street project, we were asked to kind of review plans before the siting of the crosswalks and the painting that the state might do, but there was I don't think we.
That would be a courtesy because it's got nothing to do with
Got
it.
nothing to do with
It's got
conservation.
no water on it.
We
and
got enough
no
committees
trees.
involved.
We did get it, I believe, because many towns, the Conservation and Heritage Commission, for instance,
Well,
Claremont.
Heritage Commission is involved.
Good,
Yeah.
okay, good.
But
And
Officially, Jim is on the board, he's a board rep.
But at one point, we were given that, so that's,
Excuse me, Mr. Chair.
we were given a look at the proposed project.
You, excuse
Two
me, Mr.
meetings
Chairman,
ago.
can I make a comment?
Sure.
You are supposed to be in consult with it. You just were never, you weren't brought in.
Yeah.
Why?
Why does that have anything to do with conservation?
I don't know, but it's DOT that is the one that said,
Oh, okay.
by RSAs,
Huh.
Heritage and Conservation are to be, and this town did not invite them. We just found out after and found out you were supposed to be.
And it was my presumption only because in many towns, Conservation and Heritage are combined.
Combined.
Yeah.
Heritage is very,
Yeah.
very much.
But Heritage was even left out. They had a representative there, but a representative, you have to have you can't have one of you can't,
Quorum.
You have to have the,
Quorum.
there's a quorum.
The state will be putting the blacktop down, but there's a committee
Now, yes.
in place now to come up with the plan for
The parking.
The striking.
the parking. Well, that's going to be another hellish time for that.
So the committee should maybe speak then to this.
Well, right now, we'll
Right, I know.
there's a lot going on with that, and people like Jeff North are working hard.
absolutely, I've seen it, it's free.
Well, he's invested in it,
Main Street business,
you know?
I'm gonna be honest with you, we made a mistake jumping so quickly and saying, oh, we're gonna cut 43
Right.
spaces.
Yeah.
Without, and I was in Florida, and I did say, what about business?
Right, right.
And I'm not gonna repeat what was said.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't, oh, yeah.
Wasn't very nice.
No, it's just, well, that's their problem.
Yeah, it's nasty.
It's our problem.
Yeah.
Our problem.
It is.
It's a beautiful
It is.
downtown.
It is.
It's a beautiful downtown. You don't want
Exactly.
empty- You don't want empty buildings.
Exactly.
Okay.
Bad enough.
Just gotta put up some trees.
New business, we've covered, Paul, treasurer's report, the abutters. Any other new business that
Yes.
people want to bring forward?
I have a comment to make. The state did a really nice job doing the bank coming in by the shoe factory. Yeah, Sunapee Street. Do you think that we could get, I don't know, the extension service or even the state to do some natural plantings there? I mean, natives
Where are we
planting, coming in on Sunapee Street.
By the old mill.
Yeah, the mill.
Oh,
By the
If you send me a message that the next meeting, I will bring that up to the board.
Okay.
It would be the board that would request that
Okay.
from the state.
I think it's the time is now where it's clear
I'll make that
and nothing
part.
there.
And it's spring.
Yeah.
Yes.
Something to grow.
Yeah,
I'll make that as part of it. But send me a note, because,
okay,
I'm old.
Because I'm sure most agree with all the tree cutting that's been done there. It coming into town looks terrible,
So it does.
yeah.
terrible.
And Donlin can't wait to get out from underneath that.
Who does?
Well, they're marketing it for
Yeah.
the guy.
Oh,
That they can't wait to get away from it. So,
To sell the property or something.
well, if they sell it, one thing, but they're.
but devastating it like they did is,
Never gonna get out of it. I have one that I would like to ask that you could bring back to the board while you're still there. Could we find out what phase we're in for the trees on the common? I thought we had another phase coming with another 3 trees?
You guys just send me a note.
Yes,
and
I will.
I'll bring it up
Yep.
before the next meeting, which
Yep.
will be my last meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I mean, so.
May is your last meeting?
No,
Well, if I get elected.
Oh, good.
Uh,
Okay, yeah.
Point of information, phase is what, cutting,
No,
removing, or?
replanting.
Replanting.
I thought it was a 2-phase,
Correct.
it was supposed to be 4 trees the first year. It ended up to be 5 trees because we lost a tree.
yeah, yes.
I think there's supposed to be 3 more trees planted.
Yeah, we'll
And-
have to drag the trees on because we're not allowed to bring traffic on.
No, you will, someone will be dragging
And
it.
a couple more trees to be cut. So I
Yeah.
just want to know where we were because it is
Send me
spring.
a
And,
note.
okay, and I think
I'm
it's,
the only one I don't know what's happened with our email, but myself and Herb are not getting a lot of email stuff coming.
You know what? I couldn't send you that letter that I typed up, that note.
It bounced
to our-
back.
huh,
Yeah, it just.
It bounced back from him.
Yeah,
huh.
yeah, because I got your email address. And
I don't get any response from
Solo-
Big.
Solo, and it didn't work either.
We're also supposed to fertilize trees
Yes.
at some point,
Yeah.
so,
And the irrigation.
huh?
Can we use the leaves?
Yeah. Apropos of all that is, there is, I guess it was tabled from this Monday's meeting to next, till May, a proposal to eliminate, driving on the common.
Yes,
or
well, St.
discharge.
George Biddy showed up
Yeah.
and said, they were talking, I gotta say we were talking about putting, like cement barriers up along the side. Well, we can't do that. And Biddy brought us that.
Heritage.
Yeah.
Could do
Heritage
curbing.
Commission,
Yeah,
Could do curbing down,
the tree people suggested
Away
it.
from the stuff, can't touch the.
no, but you could do curbing on
Yeah.
the roadway.
The tree people suggested curbing because
So
some of the water is
It's
draining,
the runoff that's
Yeah.
causing the issue.
right.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the biggest, we've had some problems, but the worst thing was the thing we had this winter, the carnival.
Yeah,
They destroyed.
Yeah.
they did.
Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Who did it? The town?
It's good intentions.
No,
but-
not the town.
It wasn't the town that plowed the common?
Might have been the rec. I don't know. I don't want to
Yeah.
Don't know.
All right.
But yeah, that was really detrimental.
So if you send me a thing and
I will.
I'll put it on the agenda
Okay,
and
okay,
open comments.
all right.
Discuss.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other new business? I'd like,
I do not.
I'm sorry.
No, I do not.
I went on the state query for DES applications, and the Central Street project hasn't been
Submitted.
submitted
Huh,
yet.
good.
They're gonna be sold. They're gonna try and get their permits and then they'll.
That's my thought.
He will submit.
He
Yeah,
does-
this
he
is what
does.
he does. He submits, he gets everything approved.
Then sells it.
He does the legwork, and a lot of people do not want to go in front of boards, and he's used to it.
Yeah, but he's also.
So, yeah. Anyways,
Well,
so,
All right. It was an action item last month that we would try to identify a date. We were talking about the first week of May to once again walk the south boundary of the Barton property. Only after proper notification to the local residents.
yeah, you want a suicide watch?
So I don't know if we want to, maybe we'll just leave that be, but we'll ask Don to, when he's back in town next week, to
go alone.
Go alone.
Actually, I could gladly go because I've made contact with
Yeah,
the residents there.
They seem to like you.
We're a big house.
I know.
Hey, it didn't turn into a selectmen's meeting.
Yeah.
More has
Yeah.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I have a question that you might want to consider. Could you, through the town, get, like orange vests or something?
We will.
And then have Christina make up some, or get some lanyards for you?
That's a good idea.
That way you're
We all wore reflectives. We all
Yeah.
wore reflectives.
No, they did.
It was
Even if we
Hunt.
had them
With a
screen
name.
printed, maybe.
But you know
out
what,
of
a
Newport,
She's right, a
something like that,
lantern would be nice.
conservation.
Conservation.
Petty cash.
Whatever's cheap. Is there an action, who's gonna do the 5-action plan on the Barton properties?
I'll take care of that.
Okay.
That's simple.
You want to take care of all of them?
Well, I'll at least keep them on my docket, and, if I need to.
That'd be
firm up
great.
Some of it here and there.
Okay,
I
so
will.
you're going to do the legality of the trees falling on the property too? You're allowed to get rid of it, it's got to be allowed.
Yeah, I think our first call will be to Amanda.
Charlotte Harding. Charlotte Harding.
Good call.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that, and either I or Don next week might, because he seems to know her pretty well from other meetings they had in the annual meeting.
What
All right.
about notifying the town, potentially, they don't know what they don't know about the Barton property, if they are doing anything that they're not supposed to be, just because they're not aware, notify, should we send them a letter?
Should a letter from here go to the
They just might not know.
highway?
What are they bringing trucks up and dumping?
That's what they're saying.
Cutting
That's what he's
and
saying.
dumping
Well, the cutting might be.
the trails.
Yeah, and through recreation.
But if
The
they're
town
not-
shouldn't be up there cutting, should they?
But they're saying they're dumping concrete.
Leaf blowing for sure is recreation.
Trails
Anything
for
that
springtime.
may be there.
Same with the leaf blowing.
Well,
It's
and
good
I
trails.
think
That's
Public
PJ
Works might
mentioned
be
that.
dumping up there.
But don't you think that PJ should be telling us if he's cutting trees on the Barton land?
He did come in here and talk to us about
Yeah,
that.
And
I
he
think
was
they're
gonna
cutting
let
the
us
trees
know.
that are blocking the trails and maybe cutting pieces so they can clear the trails. and that's maybe what they're,
Well, let me reach
Well,
out to
well, we-
PJ again.
Yeah, PJ, just send us an email. We're gonna be, this is what, I mean,
We also don't know if there's somebody's poaching trees.
That's
right.
It may not be the
Right.
case, but it could be the case,
But
too.
he also agreed that he would let us know. Because,
And he hasn't.
Because the communication has broken down over the years, and we thought that
that's
we
right.
would start to get communicating again. So
It's also with the school.
it as well.
Right.
As well.
Yeah.
yes.
You know, because here we are, we're blindsided from legitimate questions with, well, you guys are doing it too. Well, we're not. And we wouldn't let them either.
I'm
So-
not used to being blindsided.
Well, I mean, if we are doing it, they just might not be aware. That's why I'm saying they're not allowed to either.
That's
We
right.
Notify people if
Right.
if the town's violating
What I
anything.
mean, I
But if
think
you're going down and doing signs, can you poke around and ask?
I can.
Or would you rather a letter go?
No, I.
The answer will be,
Approaching people
Yeah,
first
that's
before
fine.
a letter.
No, I will.
we don't do that.
I will ask if someone could come out and help me place the signs, and oh, by the way, are you dumping here too? Because you shouldn't be. But yeah, I can ask some questions. But I'll bring back some information next time.
Was that asphalt really dumped?
I can't answer that. I didn't see any of that there. But you know, we can get off camera and.
Barry, another issue before the select board would be a place for brush, townspeople to dump brush.
We should have
Even,
brought that up with Paul was here.
yeah,
I was,
Yeah, we gotta do
I
it,
was a
sir.
constant user of the brush area.
I think a lot.
a brush,
Shut
a-
it.
Yeah.
where's the brush, where was the brush area?
On the highway.
Town garage.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
You
Yes.
stop in, say, I'm gonna be dumping that, and then you go over and dump
Yes.
it. But people were dumping trees,
Yeah.
and that's why he chose to shut it.
But even if we hired a brush cutter, I mean, a chipper,
They've got one.
I mean, you know, and, you know, twice in the spring or once in the fall or something, you know, where townspeople can,
Because I was told just throw it in the back of your land, so.
You could bring it to the Barton property.
yeah. No, or the town forest.
Just don't let anyone see you. The dead of night.
I think that's something
Bring
as
it to my neighbor across the road.
Right. Yes.
I think that's something as a group we should talk about.
Right.
Because that would be a good
Boost.
conservation.
Conservation, yeah,
Yes.
Informational
Yes.
that day.
Yeah.
yeah,
You
Because
know,
I used to use it all the time.
it's on, everybody did.
yeah.
Maybe there's limits too. You don't have.
Well, you
things
can't bring
larger.
trees.
Yeah,
Right, you don't have
Well,
things
they-
larger than like the
Yeah,
forest.
they were bringing trees.
They
Yeah.
were bringing.
Centimeters, or they have to be cut to manageable sizes. You
Yeah,
can't.
but you can't have a,
No, a
Right.
log.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
a brush pile.
Right,
Right.
brush,
Yeah.
so smaller than 3
you
inches.
have to put a picture up of one. It's brush.
No, I don't.
yeah,
I will ready that for some discussion next
Yeah, I
month.
think
Brush.
yeah.
All
yeah.
right, good.
Yeah.
Okay, we're at administrative, RFQ mailings.
Mostly, this is just informational. They were mailed. They were certified. I've gotten back they've all been signed for. And so everyone's gotten them. I believe we're down to only 4 valid, because one person is already declined to isn't interested in the project. And then the other thing was just that I'm gonna schedule Hunter to come in here and talk about the dog park, because Todd told me he won't do it, Hunter is to do it. And I didn't know that, so that's just it. I'll work on seeing if Hunter can come, and I believe also the RFQ direct questions, besides me knowing that they all got mailed and everyone has received them, would be Don's getting the information, because it said to only talk
Where's
to
the
Don.
dog poop?
That dog
Really?
park,
Back forest?
Right, who knows?
Down the river.
There is a good question, right, that's a good question.
I asked
the river.
That's a concern to me. I mean,
It is.
If
It
it's
should be.
not maintained, it's gonna stink.
Yeah.
And
It has to be clean. We have to need the baggies, and then we're gonna have to take the garbage.
But it's on the river, and here we are trying to protect our water sources, and it doesn't make any sense to me. And there are gorgeous trees in that area lining that bank.
But we got money for it, so we're gonna do it.
Maybe it should be a brush park.
Misplaced it. There was it was Rick Vanderpool, his organization, that got a mailing, and he is that's the organization that said we're no longer in business.
He gave us a name.
He gave us a name.
He was one of the men we said to in the original 5. I said that, didn't I send that to everyone?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, the guy that you said, Peter Skid, what was it?
Yeah.
Peter Skid. You guys had already picked him,
Good.
so he's in
Okay.
there.
Yeah.
So I think you've got
So we've got 4 down, and
Yeah.
we'll
Four
just okay, good.
I would think so.
Yeah. How come I'm not getting your emails?
I think they're getting bounced back. You're not getting, so when I sent you're in there.
I get from all the selectmen and people in town, I get funny emails.
Yeah.
Can you, what is
I
it?
said
What
no.
is it? What's your email?
B. Connell at Newport NH.
B. Connell.
Go.
Go, that's it.
But I'm gonna check it, because you're saying they're kicking back.
C-O-N.
Let me just tell you, we have a very interesting system. Because for a while, it went to the town, it went to the administration. All our emails went there, and then they were parceled out. Now, our emails go...
Is that like your mail getting pre-read and then they decide?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that, but that's my sense.
That was a
But-
joke. That was a joke.
Well, it's not a joke, because it
Oh, sorry,
really ticked
sorry.
me off. And now I know Joanne gets copies of all our emails that are sent.
They CC Joe, yeah.
But she doesn't hold them up.
So it's
No,
B.
so
Connell at what?
I'll check, because I just send directly to you. No one has to pre-approve when I hit send. So Barry, I will absolutely check to make sure.
What is that email again? B. Connell
Connell at Newport NH.gov.
at newportnh.gov.
Gov.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna check what I have written down.
2 N's, 2 L's,
B.
Two
Connell,
N's, two
yeah.
L's, yes.
2 N's, 2
1 O, 1 E.
Just to be sure.
Okay.
B?
Maybe that's why you weren't getting it.
I know.
Okay, last couple informational things. Dawn gave me a copy. I don't know if you saw this. This was just a standard form,
Oh, yes, he showed us.
and his comments that were going to the
Yeah.
planning board.
Oh, good.
Regarding our interview and
Oh,
review of the Central Street project.
it was presented as is. They responded that they're going to plant as many natural species to New Hampshire as possible on the property, much more than just the little highlighted 7.
If they build it.
Well,
Oh,
Yeah.
I have that.
but that's going to be held for whoever it's sold to.
I
We'll
hope
have
so.
to follow those. It would have to follow exactly, it's approved as long as they do this, 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 and this, and that's on there. So it's for me to hold them accountable when it gets.
And we are going to hold you
And you
accountable.
should, if you see breaking ground, absolutely.
Can I ask one?
Oh, sure.
Just because last time we had a bit of a discussion about the cutting that was going up near.
Airport.
Now, Todd Fratzel put a thing in there. It was a solar project.
Oh, the one up near T-Bird.
Yeah. But your comment, I believe,
Oh,
was that it was.
T-Bird? No, I was talking about out by Corbin Road.
Oh, geez,
Where they
yeah, that's
cut.
a whole different thing.
Well, we knew about the,
Yeah, that's a solar project.
yeah, we knew
Yeah,
about the solar
okay.
project. We
All
were
right.
kind of waiting for that they had to file, last that we saw with them, they needed to file with the state to get approval being near the river, and
Yeah.
so we knew about that. We
Okay.
didn't go back for the group didn't go back for another viewing.
Is that the
before they
town?
started.
Is that town land?
No.
Where the
No.
solar
They
is going?
Private
purchased
property.
it. You know where it is, right? Near the T-bird.
It's disgusting how many trees they cut.
Oh, yeah, they
Clear cut.
They clear cut, yeah.
You know,
Out by
Tom-
T-bird.
Those were loggers that went in there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or a maintenance guy there.
Yeah.
Right across the street.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, you weren't on the board then.
No.
No.
When we get that. No, I was trying to
Okay,
question.
so I
at
got
the
my
end-
signals crossed.
Yeah, I was trying to question what they did down by Mora's and cut all the trees
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
And what I think is wetlands. It's
Yeah.
I don't
soaking
think
wet.
that, no, but
I
they're not
know, but I'm
wetlands.
saying,
I
it's
know.
soaking wet.
It's not wetlands.
It may not be
It's
wetland.
Right. It's wet, but it's
All
not
land that's wet isn't necessarily wetlands.
It's got no
But Ken,
cat and nine tails.
you mentioned that property, and it's very clear that next to those trees that are cleared there, across from Corbin Road, there is like a sand or gravel pit.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what they,
And I'm
They're
just wondering,
digging into.
was that approved recently, or has that always been there?
it always was there, but they're digging into it. I don't know if they've gotten approval to reopen it.
Because
Wait a minute.
one of the points of our commission, as far as state statute, sand and gravel excavations, the Conservation Commission shall be provided a copy of excavation permit applications. That's right on.
Okay, well, geez, you should be looking at me. I get all those applications and I sign off on them.
Well, we should
So how
get,
do you like that? Now, based on what happens is, so what happens is the application, sand and gravel applications actually go to the state. The state approves how many cubic square feet they can remove. They request that they get an application, and then if the state approves it, then they get the final approval after the application. I get both of those. So we're just processing these now, because I have to do a sign off on them. But I only sign off on pre-existing, but I'm gonna bring them to you for now. I have to make sure they're not in violation of any zoning code, that they are pre-approved as a sand and gravel pit. And they're the ones we've always known about. United, Pike Hill, Kitty has one, there's one on Coonbrook. There's only like 5. If there's one down on Route 10, I don't believe is that what you're talking about?
Right
Yeah.
across from the
Yeah.
airport.
I don't
where they
believe there
cleared
is
all
one.
the
right
trees.
across from
Avery-
Corbin Road.
Avery's.
Okay, so hold on,
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
knew
pull.
that.
That's right, it's
Until they cut
Avery's
the trees.
land.
All
Yeah.
Oh, is
sand
that
It's
right?
not
It's not her land,
It's
but
not?
just beyond.
Not her.
all
not
sand and
even-
gravel applications, and then I'm going to ask, which is done in the tax and assessing offices, if anyone has received, I know they got an intent to cut permit for that property. I do not believe that's an authorized gravel pit.
Do we get a,
I'll
we
go
don't
find,
get intent to cut? We don't get
I didn't notice that part.
privy to
But-
intent to
So
cut.
that
I've asked
should
that
be
right
intent.
along.
It's
do you
already cut.
believe there's digging?
We should.
I think we
Oh,
should.
clearly gravel, clearly active gravel pit. Oh,
Can't
Maura
do much.
Maura
with
would
it,
know.
but it's good
I
information.
went to check out the
should
intent
just
to
get-
cut
just
permit.
look at it.
Information and everything.
So I do not believe, okay, so I don't want to
Because you
say
get
it,
this-
I don't,
no,
I'm
you
not
don't
of
get-
knowledge of that being an
no, we need to
approved
talk
gravel
about
pit
that.
by anyone, the state, me, the town. Okay, so I'll check it out, but I could be wrong, but that's brand new, someone just bought that property.
It was originally there, the backside of it was always dug into, then Ruga owned it, and Ruga didn't do anything in there. And now the new people that have bought it are digging in there.
You have to.
And whether they're moving it out of there, I don't know.
Oh, okay, selling it.
But
Yeah, because it's an income thing, and it has to be approved through the town.
What's a process if you kind of hear in the wind something like this? Do you
I
go
I
out and
investigate any
investigate? Okay,
complaint,
so
I
this,
have to.
but it has to be a formal complaint.
No, anyone could call for, well, I guess anything's
I mean,
formal. People
talking
just
about it at
call.
this meeting right now, does that constitute a,
Yeah, absolutely. I
Complaint
go
is
and
fine,
absolutely.
okay.
I will go
So-
and check. unless you guys told me not
Tomorrow,
to.
right? You're gonna tomorrow?
I actually could investigate it because I don't think it's set up as one of, because the mainstays,
Take a look at the map.
now that I'm used to it here, you see the same people come, the same, and they
Oh, yeah,
always
yeah.
were, I make sure they're not in violation of
No, I do.
anything.
We use it.
But I
Yeah,
didn't
no.
know I was supposed to bring you these applications, so I just got them all. So I'm gonna bring them all to you.
Good,
And I'm gonna get them ahead before I even sign off on them.
good.
And years coming. So, and if we have any issues, obviously they still can be addressed, whether I sign, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, okay, but this one, obviously, I know they have the intent to cut, because there was a complaint I got in on that. I made sure, and I went checked out to make sure it was posted correctly. I have never heard about gravel, and I don't believe they're a certified gravel pit,
And that's the North Newport right there?
the Route 10.
Oh, that's already clear cut, so there's no reason for it.
Well, they did get the proper paperwork.
Before they...
Club, yes. Yes, absolutely.
So now we're asking about the gravel.
gravel.
Yeah.
On the property.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple last informational things. These are just things that showed up in Don's mailbox, so he felt I'd just bring them. We got a copy of a letter February 21 that Mr. Mike Loftus had applied to serve on the Heritage Commission, and he was granted that position. We got a notification.
Oh, yeah, he's new in town, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This also came to the Conservation Commission's mailbox. There was just a copy of the permit request for the dog park, which was filed back in March, I guess. No, approval
that-
date was March 2, 23,
So that's all been approved to do that
by the state.
by
The state approved it?
So
Yeah, the DES
Is it,
approved it.
is this, the town is doing this?
The
Yeah.
town
With
is doing
a
it.
Town, and my constant question is, who's gonna maintain it?
Exactly.
Exactly.
It's gonna be a lot.
Town.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I guess we're gonna, maybe we'd have to hire a dog poop person.
People.
What is the cost of this thing?
I don't know.
They got grants.
Yeah, they
They
got,
can do anything with grants.
Purina or somebody gave them a grant.
Also a public garden, supposedly part of it.
Yeah.
There, yes.
Maybe that's where they'll put the poop.
That's the
Yeah.
compost.
Well, that's a
already.
good point.
The permit description as it went to the state was impact of 43,000 square feet, so about an acre of protected shoreland, in order to construct a municipal dog park and community garden, each surrounded by a 4-foot chain link fence. Another beautiful,
It's gonna look lovely.
nice
Just
looking fence right
lovely.
behind that little park dedicated. It's a memorial, a war memorial.
Yeah, it's okay.
There now.
So we gotta have it then.
Got to have a chain
Gotta have
link
it
fence there. Nothing like a chain link fence.
Get black chain link.
It is black, disappears, black chain link disappears.
Good, well, let's
It
request that.
absolutely does, I've had
Yeah.
it. in-
Conservation
it's
Commission will request a black chain link fence.
I
How's
think
that?
it's easy enough to get instead of that
Why,
silver.
there are a lot of nice decorative fences that probably are reasonably
Yeah.
priced nowadays.
An
and-
acre of fencing, just the chain link is, I'm assuming it's gonna be $40,000-$50,000.
For what?
An acre of chain link fencing.
Yeah, it's gonna be expensive.
It's gonna be way above the 25 25K Purina money they gave.
Yeah, well,
Well, what's that,
Well, maybe it'll
200,
get held up.
200 by 200?
Maybe it'll never get done.
Wait and see, I guess.
Newport Green Up Day is Sunday, April 30th. Meet on the Common at 9 a.m. And the Sunshine 5K is being run the following weekend out of the Corbin Bridge, 5-6. So, any other business to come before the commission? I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
You did a shitty job. 8:20.
But you kept asking.
I know.
Linda, don't you
Uh-oh.
It is bad as a